Uh, Vance and Louise Ehmke have been involved in Kansas agriculture for over 50 years on their fifth generation farm that began in 1885. In 1986, they started Ehmke Seed in to grow certified seed wheat for themselves and local farmers. They are now one of the premier wheat, triticale, and rye seed dealers in western Kansas. Well, Vance and Louise, thank you for participating in this discussion. I know it's a big ask to do in a short time, but could you give a summary of some of the changes in farming that you've seen in your career, and where do you think we are going?
Well, I guess if you like change, you're in the right business because we are kind of these farms continue to get bigger, and especially out here in the high plains in western Kansas, these populations will continue going down. Statistically, if you look at the number of farmers and the number of school districts out here in western Kansas, those two items peaked in the mid 30s. That was also the time in which the number of farms started decreasing, and the size of farms started getting bigger and bigger. Back in the mid 30s here in Lane County. Louise, tell them a little bit about Lane County. What's your population right now?
Oh, I think it's about 1,500 for the whole county. I think we're 103rd, or not quite 105th, but we're down there. And one person every 10 miles or something like that. It's pretty sparse. And
yeah, they say that you were no longer frontier once I think you reached a population density of like 5 per square mile. We never gotten out of the frontier department here in Lane County, and it continues to go down. How many school districts, please?
We have two. One is the smallest in the state, which is Healy. And our address is actually Healy, but we live between Dighton and Healy. We do most of our business in Dighton or Scott City. We can't buy shoes in either place, so you have to go down to Garden for the shoes. But
if you live out here in western Kansas, like Louise is intimating, you are members of many different communities. Like I think it's been 50 years since you could buy a pair of shoes in Dighton. So we are a member of the Garden City and the Dodge City community in that regard. Go to church over in Scott. Kids go to school in Dighton, and the mail comes out of Healy.
So,
at the peak, we had like 52 school districts here in Lane County. And if you look at the photographs of those schools, there were a lot of kids, that went to those. In my high school class, 1967, there were 50 or 55 kids. Today, how many kids in a class?
15 to 19.
Something like that. But anyway, farms are continuing to get bigger. And, we've been on this trend for the past 90 years. There's nothing that's going to stop it. In fact, it's probably going to accelerate as we go forward. The future does not end in 10 or 20 years. It just keeps on going. And I think, looking way down the line, we're probably the next Brazil in terms of farm size. Whether you like it or not, that's what's happening.
Well, the other question is, why are farms getting bigger, Vance?
Well, technology allows it. A gentleman from up in Hayes and north central Kansas, Allen States, made the comment a number of years ago that one man using 1970 technology could farm 5,000 acres. And technology is competition forces farmers to adopt technology, and farmers are very carnivorous when it comes to technology adoption. They're constantly adopting new technology. And another way of putting that is that with technology, one man can do more and more and more work. And as we adopt technology, we need fewer and fewer and fewer people out on the farm. I've seen a lot of farmers come to the equation about, do we hire more people or do we adopt and pay for expensive technology? And in every case, they go for the technology route, which is one of the things you've got to do out here because there's just not a lot of people in the area. So in the presently, I would say in Lane County, which is a very representative rural county here in Kansas, that the average farm size is probably somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 acres. But as time goes on, the 4,000 will fold into the 8 and the 8 into the 16. And there is nothing that's going to stop that whatsoever.
And I don't know, those aren't necessarily purchased acres by any means. Those are rented acres. They're, it's the retirement income for those folks moving to be by the grandchildren or entering the rest home. And we know when people criticize that, it's like, hey, those ladies, those women in the restroom, this is their retirement. So you don't criticize those landlords because they're this is their retirement income. This is what was planned. And but I would say that there's been sure an increase in custom farming or cash rents out here. We used to do 1/3, 2/3 kind of things, and you have recent cash rents. That's been a different. The other thing I would say that farmers do that is the old Earl Butts adage. Big thing was to say, adapt or die.
Well, anyway,
what farmers do, I think that's what all of Western Kansas do that are committed to staying here if they can, is adapt or die.
When Louise and I started farming back a long time ago, we had a 20-foot wide undercutter. Today, these undercutters and air seeders and air drills, they're not 20 feet wide, they're 20 feet high. And we've had some discussions
with the REA about that. We've had to pay for moving power lines, or they say, oh, they're tall enough. No, they're not. They got to get up to 20 feet or more because our air seeder, our air drill is 20 feet tall, and we've taken them out. We've taken out a power line or two. Not by intent, not intentionally, but you're driving down the road at night and your undercutter blades are up there all folded up, and you take out a power line because they don't have an up tall enough. So anyway.
Well, the local REA, we had to explain to, rather our attorney had to explain to him that he who fights change is destined to lose. And so anyway, they've started raising their power lines. Tim, Barry Flintstall real well. And one of his observations a number of years ago was that, we got 105 counties here in Kansas, and we don't even need 60 of them. As these populations continue to go down, we need these. And he said, we just have too much government. You've got all these, you got townships and all these extraneous counties and whatever. But, people will fight that to the death, like they will resist consolidation of school districts, and they'll also resist consolidation of counties. These big computers that we've got right now are one of the, if you look back in the Bill Clinton era, financially, that was a tremendous time to be involved in business because during his administration, we were seeing a lot of computer adoption. And, that really created a lot of, profit making ability for people. But, here in Western Kansas, these same computers could handle, the workload of not only one county or two counties or three counties, but maybe 10 or 20 counties. And I don't know how far out there you want to go, but I'd say, Lane County would be one of those that we're going to be real stretched to prove that we have a reason to exist. But then also, as we look forward to the depopulation of, counties like Lane County, what is that going to do to our representation in state government as well as in national government? We could likely wind up with losing a representative. And then the other thing that we've all been worried about is the rural versus city thing. The conflicts that can arise out of that. And so it's going to take some really strong horse trading to be able for rural people to exist in that kind of environment where it become more and more and more of a minority, right, Louise?
I think that we've talked about this for a while, and I'm sure in your families you've talked about these issues as well. In fact, I was at an FCE meeting today. If those of you who know, that's extension or family and consumer education units that are still in some counties, and we've depopulated. They aren't nearly as popular as they used to be as a service club and education club as an avenue from K-State. Anyway, that was brought up, depopulation, and how can we fight that? And everybody at the meeting, there was nobody at the meeting unless you were employed there under 50. So how are we going to keep these people? How are we going to get them back here? What do we need to do?
Well, one of the things that I'm, personally convinced of is that we will see a continuation of depopulation, farms getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that brings up a lot of good points for discussion, like maybe I'm wrong. Are there people that are going to move to Dighton or Monument, to get out of Denver? Do you have to be in Denver to work in Denver? That's a legitimate possibility. And that's one of the other reasons why we out here need to really pay attention to the mass communications changes and
infrastructure. We have to have a very key infrastructure to support a willingness to come. Like, our governor has supported the all kinds of internet for the whole state, which is absolutely desperately needed. We are real lucky where we are. We have a very good, in fact, we were one of the best in the state, I think, with S&T, and one of the first on that really, got fiber optics, and we've been very happy with that. But not everybody has that access, but we need it absolutely.
Some of the other things that could help diversify our economies out here, and they all or many of these relate back to the farm. Like some of these counties, like Lane County, we do have a little bit of oil production here. This is nothing like West Texas, guys. This is Western Kansas. Here recently, there's a real strong interest in developing wind, in wind turbines and whatever. And the customers for that resource are the big polluters, like back in Kansas City, who want to buy
their way out.
Basically, that's what it is. And then also there's some interest in developing the rural area with solar panels and that type of thing. But all of those would help diversify our economy and maybe help stabilize the population. Louise is saying we hit 15 minutes, Tim.
We hit 15.
Well, that's
15, 14.
Let's hold some thoughts on that, because what I hear you saying is that technology has created this increased size of farms, and that's depopulated the area. But also the technology might be help to renew our communities then too.
Exactly.